The Smashing Machine with The Rock.
Oh, damn, bro.
I decided to watch this one.
Chris coming out with the surprises.
Yeah, I watched a lot of stuff. I'll say this about The Smashing Machine. This is the one with The Rock. He plays UFC MMA legend Mark Kerr. He does a really good. This is probably some of his best acting that he's ever done. Right, low bar, high bar. Me being a smartass with that comment or not, this really is the best of Dwayne. Two Terramanas, brother. But Terramana available at Terramana.com.
Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. Dwayne Johnson.
Rocky.
But I thought this was Dwayne's best performance. Him and Emily Blunt play husband and wife. And there's a lot of chock full of MMA guys playing different roles. Some of them are playing themselves. Bas Rutten, Ryan Bader plays Mark Coleman. A bunch of other people are in this movie as well. I just thought that I didn't really do much for me in the sense of they just kept beating you over and over and over again with like The Rock and Emily Blunt just going toe to toe and just fighting the whole movie, right? And it's interspersed with his career moving forward, and he deals with the pressures of being a fighter. You see him out in grocery stores and just being out in public life, and you see how his life begins to change as the fame comes from going to your local mall and nobody notices you, and you go on an airplane, you land in Japan where fucking the whole country knows you, and they've been waiting for you to come over and fight. It's a cool way that they paint some of that stuff. But I just thought after 3 or 4 fight scenes, I understand, Dwayne and Emily Blunt, they don't get along. There's tension. I get it. But they beat you over and over the head. And everything is just so over-explained. I thought the writing was really bad.
Ooh.
I'm not a script writer. I don't pretend to be one. But I just thought the script was really bad. Way too over-descriptive. Like, you don't need to over-describe anything. You know what I mean? Do you know what the Ultimate Fighting Championship is? It is 3 5-minute rounds where it's the best of mixed martial arts. It's all mixed in there. It's like, okay, I get it. Even if the guy spoke that way and and this and that, there's other parts of that movie where it's still overdrawn out. Like, you mean I have to do this and it's going to take me an hour and a half. So they're filling in the little spots where you might have a question as a first time watcher or viewer, right? Mm. And I get it. I've seen it before. I was watching Formula One recently, and the announcers literally calling the action over the speakers in the stadium.
Damn.
And so there's a little bit of that. And also, I thought Ryan Bader plays Mark Coleman. I think Mark Coleman as an athlete and as a story is way more interesting than Mark Kerr, but that might just be me. But I just thought Mark Coleman as a fighter is way more interesting as a person. Ryan Bader does a okay job as playing Mark Coleman, but they give him a couple of really deep water scenes, like emotional scenes, where one of them where he's at Mark Kerr, The Rock's bedside after he has a near-death experience. And you can just tell, even The Rock just acting in that same scene with him, these are two different, there's levels to this,
Yeah.
And so by having a guy in there, a fighter play a fighter's cool, but sometimes when you go into those deeper emotional scenes, it doesn't really work. It just barely passes. It's almost funny, actually. So, but this is The Rock's best movie. I don't know why anybody would give him a 12, 13-minute standing ovation at some of these festivals. I thought he did a nice job, but let's not get too crazy. Would this movie go up for an Oscar? If Dwayne wins it for this one, it's one of those he won it, but this isn't even the right one. Well, which one is there? There isn't one. That's the whole point.
Man.
If they give it to him, it's because they think that he's the best microphone to be walking around with that fucking trophy for a year, farting it up, and dedicating Terramanas. But I thought it was a fine movie. The mixed martial arts scenes were okay, but there's been MMA movies now for like 20 years. This one's not going to stick out as anything memorable, and I just thought it was hampered down by really bad writing. I'm going to be gentle, and I'm going to give mega points to The Rock, and I will push this to a 5.8. That's what I give this movie. Yeah.
I guess that you were going to give it a 5.5, so I'm close.
Yeah, I think you would like it, Ryan. I would
Yeah?
recommend you watch it, especially if you don't know the career and life of Mark Kerr. It's interesting. But me knowing some of the fighters in the movie and watching them act, it mixed results is the best way to put it.
Would you say that it's not The Rock's fault that this isn't as good as it can be?
I wouldn't pin it on The Rock, but I would say it's a combination of things. It's nobody's fault, really. There's nothing in this movie that I watched and I'm like, oh, this is so really stupid. It just fails in certain points. The writing is a big.
It sounds
big
like the
fail.
writing
There's
is the problem, though.
The writing
Yeah.
is really over-explained in some scenarios. The directing is fine. There's a lot of really nice scenes. They really capture some of that grit, some of that violence when one guy's just fucking getting elbow smashed in the face, north to south position, where there used to be an eyeball, now it's just an empty socket, and there's blood and spit on the mat. That's cool. That looks really nice, right? The friction between Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt is fine, but again, it's the writing is just. This is supposed to take place in the late 90s, early 2000s, and there's a fight between Dwayne, Mark Kerr, and Dawn Staples, who's the wife. She's mad at him because apparently he was being judgy or whatever, right? Judgy's one of these fucking soy words that came out in the last 5 years. Nobody was calling people judgy 25 years ago. This judgy nonsense is this just young generational Instagram language. You're judgy. But to hear judgy, and supposedly you're telling me a story that's happening in 1999, 2000, it doesn't click. Nobody was speaking that way. Nobody was talking about people being judgy.
I hate that.
In 98, 99. So,
Yeah.
And that's fine. That might not have been written. Maybe that was just a scene that they captured where both actors were improvising, and she said judgy, and the director's like, "Fuck it, I love it. I love the intensity. I love everything." But you get betrayed. You get betrayed by the language.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like what if Zelda said no cap in the new movie?
I'm walking out the theater.
I know that wouldn't happen.
I'm walking
but
out the theater.
That's what it sounds like to. That's what it sounds like to my ear. You know what I mean?
Flink was
So
like,
you really want me to go up there and get that key? No cap. It's like, yeah, no cap.
yeah, and then Link's like, yeah, 6'7",
Otherwise, it's the end of
6'7", and I'll be like, bro, 6'7" out of my ass. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about your review. Like that's not that I don't know how to feel. I'm a little surprised that like The Rock actually did something good here, and that like
He did a good job.
yeah, it sounds like he did the best with what he was given, and that's cool. Yeah, I haven't heard the best things about this movie also. So coming from you, who is actually a fan of MMA and stuff like that, like I'll definitely take your
Right.
word for it over most people. And yeah, I can see what you mean though. Like, because I'm not like, I like MMA, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I dabble, and maybe because I'm not a huge fan, I will like this because I'm not like super knowledgeable of what's happening, and I can just kind of take it for what it is. I get that. That's cool. But it seems like a lot of people that hate this movie or don't like this movie are fans of MMA. So yeah,
Right.
like I get it.
Yeah, but they get a lot of things right. They use certain camera lenses that really make it look like you're watching old VHS tape from the late 80s, early 90s.
That's cool.
They do a lot of cool stuff like that. A lot of the visuals that they shoot in Japan are really well done. But there's just not enough there to make this movie memorable for me. And I think, all respect to Mark Kerr, I think Mark Coleman's the way more interesting character, and I think would have probably done more of I don't know if it would have done better at the box office, but I think maybe the story might have been a little bit more interesting to where the common person can get it,
Yeah.
There's this really nice thing at the end of the movie where it goes to black and it tells you what happens to all the characters. His name is Mark Kerr, like capital letters. And it's this really nice grandiose way of honoring the man that they just built this 2.5 hour movie on. But doesn't quite feel that way. It feels like, when you're at a party and everybody's doing the standing ovation, so you get up too, but then you're like, why am I doing why am I doing the standing thing? It doesn't, it ain't all that.
Yeah.
Let's not get crazy here, So that's what I thought. I just thought it wasn't all that. And you know me, man, I'll be the first to come after you if you're like, right when I tell you, like, stop listening to the hype. You judge it for yourself, right? And I will say that this movie came in with so much hype that I will say this to the movie's defense is maybe I came in a little bit overcritical just because I heard about the 12-minute fart fest of everybody clapping and cheering and throwing the babies in the air.
Yeah.
And so I watched it with more of a critical eye, but I did try to like it. I should be telling you it was a 10 out of 10 movie if I was biased, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got all the things I like, and it's got 2 titties in it, right? But actually, Eddie, cut that part out.
Cut that part out.
Titties. But yeah, thank you, Eddie. But it just doesn't hold it, unfortunately. It's a fun little stream it one night. Stream it, I dare you.
I might. If you guys like this video, be sure to check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing. Go even further and subscribe to Podcast Fresh wherever you listen to your podcasts for new episodes every week.